Okay, we're live. Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Roger Paul, and tonight we're going to study a new paper, paper 37, Personalities of the Local Universe. And that starts on page 406 of the original book. And we'll say a little prayer and we'll get started. Father, thank you for bringing us together tonight that we might study this wonderful revelation. Pray you'll watch over us tonight, open our hearts and minds that we might remember a little bit of this and share it with others. We thank you for this opportunity to do this, and we thank you for those who come and listen. We say this in the name of your son, Michael, Jesus of Nazareth. Amen.
Amen.
Okay. Diane, I guess you're up.
Paper 37, Personalities of the Local Universe. At the head of all personality in Nebadon stands the creator and master son, Michael, the universe father and sovereign, coordinate in divinity and complemental in creative attributes is the local universe mother spirit, the divine minister of Salvington. And these creators are in a very literal sense, the father, son, and the spirit mother of all the native creatures of Nebadon.
Okay, so right off the bat, it tells us that the head of all personalities in Nebadon is the creator
Alexa,
son,
off.
right? And and he comes from the universal father, and he's the sovereign of our local universe. And it mentions here that the coordinate in divinity, in other words, his equal in divinity is the local universe mother spirit, the divine minister of Salvington. That's our local universe creative mother spirit. And it's interesting, in the next sentence, he talks about, in the literal sense, Jesus, or Michael, is the father son. Why does it say father son, you think? It's because he's the father of all creations and his local universe, and he's the son of God and son of the first son, right? And then the spirit mother comes directly from the infinite spirit, and she is the local universe mother spirit of all creatures in Nebadon. So they're co-equals in divinity and nature both, which is pretty important. Okay, Jane, would you like to take the next one, please, for us? Unmute, Jane. You're muted. There you go.
Preceding papers have dealt with the created orders of sonship. Succeeding narratives will portray the ministering spirits and the ascending orders of sonship. This paper is chiefly concerned with an intervening group, the universe aids, but it will also give brief consideration to certain of the higher spirits stationed in Nebadon and to certain of the orders of permanent citizens in the local universe.
So this paper deals basically with all those in-between spirits in the local universe that are not descending sons of God or ascending sons of God normally either. But there is a few of those that are included in this. And most of them are considered universe age. And we're going to get into a whole list of them in just a second. But it's also going to talk about the permanent citizenship of the local universe. And what do they mean by permanent citizenship? These are beings that will not go on the ascension plan. Okay, so there's different types of beings on every single level going up through the local universe that are created and stay in the local universe indefinitely. Okay, so the local universe always has a population. Okay, it wouldn't be fair if the local universe didn't have a population, because eventually everybody would ascend up and then you'd have nobody hanging out in this local universe, right? So it's important to have permanent citizens. Excuse me. All right, let's go on to the next one, the universe aids. And I see Millie's joined us. Can you hear me, Millie?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, would you like to take the next paragraph? You're up here.
I'll do that. The universe.
All the way
aid.
down, all the way down to the Mansion World teachers. Okay. All right. There you go.
Many of the unique orders generally grouped in this category are unrevealed, but as presented in these papers, the universe aids include the following 7 orders. 1, the bright and morning stars. 2, brilliant evening stars. 3, archangels. 4, most high assistants. 5, high commissioners. 6, celestial overseers, and 7, mansion world teachers.
Okay, notice here, it talks about only 7 groups of beings here, but there's thousands and thousands and thousands of groups of beings that are unrevealed. In other words, they don't tell us about. So they don't want us to get the idea that these are the only types of beings that are universe aids in the local universe. There's many, many other types of beings, but most of the ones that they are unrevealed are the ones that are not related to our ascension plan. So they don't even mention those. And plus the fact, if they told us about all the different orders of beings, we'd need a book of about 50,000 pages, right?
You'd be overwhelmed too.
Oh yeah, overwhelming. Okay, so we're going to talk about each one of these groups: the bright morning stars, the evening stars, the archangels, the most high assistants, and they should not be confused with the most highs, the Verandadek sons, right? And the high commissioners, celestial overseers, and mansion world teachers. We're going to talk about each group one at a time, one at a time. Rodney, would you take the next paragraph for me, please?
Oh, yes. Excuse me. Of the first order of universe aids, the bright and morning stars, there is just one in each local universe, and he is the firstborn of all creatures native to a local universe. The bright and morning star of our universe is known as Gabriel of Salvington. He is the chief executive of all Nebadon, functioning as the personal representative of the sovereign son and as spokesman for his creative consort.
Okay, so the first order, the universe aid of the universe aids, is the bright and morning star. Now, we have to realize that there's only one bright and morning star in each of all 700,000 local universes, right? So there's 700,000 bright and morning stars, but there's only one in our local universe. And he is always the firstborn creature of the creator son and the local universe mother spirit together, right? And ours is named Gabriel of Salvington. Now, being that he's the firstborn, he's not only the chief executive of Nebadon, but what is he also? Since he came from the local universe mother spirit, he is the de facto head of all of the angelic court. Everybody, all the angels, every single one of them, of the local universe level. So what does that mean? That means from seraphim, archangels, all the way down. Now we're going to find out the archangels are a little bit different than all the rest of the angelic corps, but all the other angelic corps, the seraphim, the sanabim, the cherubim, everybody falls under the purview of the bright and morning star, right, which is Gabriel. So he's head of all of them. So he's not only the chief executive of all Nebadon for the executive portion of running the administration of the local universe, but he's also the head of all matters relating to the angelic corps all the way down to the very lowly planets. Okay. All right. Let's see, Gary, you're up next.
During the early times of Nebadon, Gabriel worked quite alone with Michael and the creative spirit. As the universe grew and administrative problems multiplied, he has proved with a personal, he was provided with a personal staff of unrevealed assistants, and eventually this group was augmented by the creation of the Nebadon Corps of Evening Stars.
Okay, it's interesting that the evening stars, okay, were planned by the Melchizedeks, really, okay, as assistants to Gabriel in all his work. Even though he was created by Michael, all his administrative staff that came after that were planned by the Melchizedek. All right, and then once the Melchizedeks planned the evening stars, then they became a core of evening stars, and that's what we're going to take up next. All right, number 2. Pam, would you take the next one, please?
These brilliant creatures were planned by the Melchizedeks and were then brought into being by the Creator Son and the Creative Spirit. They serve in many capacities, but chiefly as liaison officers of Gabriel, the local universe chief executive. One or more of these beings function as his representatives at the capital of every constellation and system in Nebadon.
Okay, so we know that there's 100 systems, right? Am I getting myself? Santania is a system now. Constellations, 100 constellations in each and every local universe. So there's, for each constellation, there's an evening star, and for each local system, there's an evening star. Okay, so it takes quite a bit of them, but they are in essence the liaison officers for Gabriel. So if anything needs to be done for Gabriel, they would be the evening stars would be the one that would take care of that and do that, right? All right, let's go on to the next one. Diane, would you take the next one, please, too?
As chief executive of Nebadon, Gabriel is ex officio chairman of or observer at most of the Salvington conclaves, and as many as 1,000 of these are often in session simultaneously. The brilliant evening stars represent Gabriel on these occasions. He cannot be in 2 places at the same time, and these super angels compensate for this limitation. They perform an analogous service for the core of the Trinity teacher sons. Thank you.
Sure. Okay, so since Gabriel can only be in one place at a time, the evening stars takes his place in all these conclaves, and there can be 1,000 of those things going on at one time. Okay, so they have to all report back to Gabriel, and he keeps track of each and every one of them. Now, we were talking about something the other night, I think Rodney brought it up, about Gabriel and Father Melchizedek being on the planet at the same time, right? During Mount Tabor, right?
I think that's Tim.
Huh? Was that
I think
Tim?
Tim
Okay.
brought it.
Yeah, it was Tim brought it up. That's correct. Okay, well, this is one way that even though Gabriel had to be away from Salvington, in essence, he was representative by what? The evening stars, correct? So since there's so many of those, anything that needed to be done, he could relay back to the evening stars. So things would go on as normal, just as they always do. Make sense? All right, because they perform as representatives for him. Okay.
Hey, Roger.
Yeah.
I see now they're super angels.
Super angels. That's right.
I never
They are.
before.
Yeah, they're all but part of the angelic core. They're all created by whom? The local universe mother spirit. So that makes them part of the angelic core, right?
So, the reason they're called brilliant, is that Mendel or are they,
No, that's
or is it
that's
just,
their appearance. They're so close to perfect. They're brilliant individuals and beings. You know, you remember how
like
they used to,
for
like Lucifer was a brilliant being, right? I mean,
oh, heavenly
when he's
light?
yeah, he submitted, you know, this spiritual light everywhere they go, and he did the same thing, right?
Hmm.
Now it'd be interesting to find out if Lucifer's glow has dimmed down to nothing.
Diminished,
Mm-hmm.
just an amber.
Just an amber. That's right. Would be, wouldn't it? All right. Jane, would you take the next one, please?
Though personally occupied with administrative duties, Gabriel maintains contact with all other phases of universe life and affairs through the brilliant evening stars. They always accompany him on his planetary tours and frequently go on special missions to the individual planets as his personal representatives. On such assignments, they have sometimes been known as the angel of the Lord. They frequently go to Uversa to represent the brighter morning star before the courts and assemblies of the Ancients of Days, but they seldom journey beyond the confines of Orvonton.
Now, there's several things in this paragraph I want to bring out. First, they seldom journey beyond the confines of Orvington. Why would that be? Because when they're out of Orvington, then they're uncircuited from the local universe. Makes sense? They're encircuited all the time they're in the local universe, and probably encircuited by the infinite spirit when they have to go to Uversa before the Ancients of Days. But when they go outside Orvington, our super universe, then they would no longer be in this local universe or the local super universe circuit. Makes sense? So that's why they don't leave it very often. They would not want to be uncircuited unless they absolutely have to. The other thing I want to mention about this paragraph is that they're called the angel of the Lord. Why would that be? Remember in the Old Testament, many times when they say something was done by the angel of the Lord, this is what it's talking about. These were bright and morning stars, and any messages that anyone would want to give to somebody on a planet, if it was from somebody high up like Michael or the local universe mother spirit, guess who they send to do this? The brilliant evening stars, because they are the angels of the Lord, right? They represent the local universe mother spirit, they represent Gabriel, and they also represent Michael if they want to relay any kind of message. All right. Now this is really, yeah, go ahead.
It says that they always accompany Gabriel.
Right.
When Gabriel spoke to Elizabeth and to Mary,
Right.
they were with him.
They were with him. They had to be. Right. They probably didn't appear like Gabriel did, right? But they were there, right? And they probably, you know, when he announced himself, I don't know, I don't remember if he announced himself as the angel of the Lord or not, but he probably did to Mary so that she would understand where he was coming from, right? Because during that period of time, remember, there were rebel midwayers running all over the place, and they represented whom? They represented Lucifer, you know. So you would want to know that it was an angel of the Lord, so that the message came from Michael or Jesus instead of Lucifer, right? Okay, now this is really interesting, and people miss this many times. This little paragraph is so important. I even have a picture underneath it because it's so important. Now, let's take the next one. Millie, would you take the next paragraph?
Yes. The brilliant evening stars are a unique twofold order, embracing some created dignity and others of attained service. The Nevedon Corps of these super angels are now numbers 13,641. There are 4,832 of created dignity, while 8,809 are ascendant spirits who have attained this goal of exalted service. Many of these ascendant evening stars started their universe career as seraphim. Others have ascended from unrevealed levels of creature life. As an attainment goal, this high core is never close to ascension candidates, so long as the universe is not settled in light and life.
Okay, so let me explain a little something here. There are two different unique orders of evening stars, and they're considered angels, right? Okay, the first order are the created ones. That's what they're talking about, of created dignity here. Okay, 4,832 were created by Michael and the local universe mother spirit. Okay, those are the created ones. The rest of them, the 8,809, are beings that have ascended the scale, just like we go through the ascension plan. These are most of them angels that have done well in their job, so they've ascended up the scale and been granted to be evening stars. Okay, and most of them come from the seraphim. Now think about this. The seraphim, how would the seraphim be free to be able to do this? You know, because we know that the seraphim, two seraphim accompany us most of the way up through the local universe, don't they? But they can be released in a couple of situations. One is this, that if their candidate fails to survive, they did everything they possibly could to get this individual to survive, and they didn't wake up on the mansion worlds and they were snuffed out, then those seraphim are freed to do other things. You see that? And this is one possibility of this seraphim attaining this goal, right? Or, for instance, it's a seraphim was assigned to, for instance, a creator son or a magisterial son that's on their mission during their time on a planet, then they would be released from service when they went back to their normal job. So those seraphim would be available for either reassignment, or they may be kicked up to the evening stars. But that's not the most the most unusual ones that become evening stars. It says here, others have ascended from unrevealed levels of creature life. What does that mean?
I wondered.
I
wondered.
Well, how about those mortals who have done really well and decided they wanted to go into a service of ministry like this, right? And they didn't want to go on the ascension plan. So they may be freed. Other types of beings, not us, but other types of beings like us, are freed to attain ministering spirit classification, and then they would be available for becoming evening stars, because this is one of the highest level of ministry that you can do, is become an evening star, right?
Mhm.
So it's kind of unusual if you think about it. So as long as the ascension candidates hadn't reached light and life, this is a possibility. It's one of the ways that angels can ascend. Now underneath here, I show a picture of Universe Mother Spirit Michael and the 4,832 created brilliant evening stars. And then there's the 8,809 ascendant brilliant evening stars that's earned that position. Isn't that nice? So more earn the position than were actually created. And this is the worlds of the evening stars, just like there's worlds for each class we studied around Salvington. Well, this is their worlds, and their 42 satellites that surround them. All right. Okay, let's see here. Gary, I think you're up. Rodney, did I skip over you? I think I did. Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, go ahead and do the next one.
Alrighty. Both types of brilliant evening stars are easily visible to Urantia personalities, and certain types of supermortal material beings. The created beings of this interesting and versatile order possess a spirit force which can be manifested independently of their personal presence.
Okay, so what kind of material beings do you think material beings could see these angels? How about the midwayers, right? They could see them. Caligastra 100, they would be able to see them, right? Because they've been Urantia beings at one time, and when they came to Earth, they were given new bodies, but they still had extended sight, right? So they could see these type of beings. Also, Caligastra would have been able to see them, right? So all these types of beings that's on this planet could still see these brilliant evening stars along with Adam and Eve, right?
They could.
Yeah, Adam and Eve could actually see the angels of the garden. You remember the angel of the Garden of Eden that warned Eve that she was fixing to default?
Yeah.
You know, trying to keep her from defaulting. So it's the same situation with this. All right. Okay, Gary, would you take the next one?
The head of these super angels is Gavalia.
Gavalia.
Close.
Uh-huh.
The firstborn of this order in Nebadon. Since the return of Christ Michael from his triumphant patrol on Urantia, Gavalia has been assigned to the ascendant mortal ministry, and for the last 1900 Urantia years, his associate
Galantia
has maintained headquarters on Jerusalem, where he spends about half of his time. Galantia is the first of the ascendant super angels to attain this high estate.
Okay, so Gavalia was a created super angel, right? Galantia is a ascendant super angel. In other words, he earned that right to be that. And both of these are assigned full time to the mortal ascension plan. Okay, so these angels are assigned full time to help us out. All right. Pam, would you take the next one?
No grouping or company organization of the brilliant evening stars exists other than their customary association in pairs on many assignments. They are not extensively assigned on missions pertaining to the ascendant career of mortals, but when thus commissioned, they never function alone. They always work in pairs, one a created being, the other an ascendant evening star.
So notice when they're assigned to an ascendant problem or ascendant being, there is one that's a created one from the local universe, Mother Spirit, Michael, and the other one is an ascension evening star. Now, why would this be very important to have them paired like this? Because one has experience as a guardian seraphim. Makes sense? Since one has already been with a human being an entire life, they already have experiential things that they can add to helping out that the created one did not already have experience in. So that's why they're assigned in pairs. One created, one ascension. Make sense?
Yeah.
Good system. All right. Let's go on. Diane, would you take the next?
One of the high duties of the evening stars is to accompany the Avonal stool sons on their planetary missions, even as Gabriel accompanied Michael on his Urantia bestowal. The two attending super angels are the ranking personalities of such missions, serving as co-commanders of the archangels and all others assigned to these undertakings. It is the senior of these super angel commanders who at the significant time and age bids the Avonal bestowal son, be about your brother's business.
Now, why do you think they would say be about your brother's business instead of being about your father's business? Because these are Avonal sons, right? They're not creator sons. Avonal sons represent whom?
God, Emmanuel.
God the Father. I mean, God, I'm crazy. God the Son, right? Because they are created from whom? They're created from God the Father and God the Son, right? All right, so they are to be about their brother's business, their brother being whom?
Michael,
Michael, that's right.
or a paradise son.
Or a paradise son. That's exactly correct. So since they're paradise sons, all of them, the Avonals, they would be about their brother's business, and it would be the creator son that would be about his father's business. Make sense? Okay. It's also interesting too that they mention here that two of these came down with Gabriel when he did his mission with Michael on the Urantia bestowal. And why do you think it would take two more of them with Gabriel? Because they always work in pairs, right? And Gabriel has what? No pair ever. Make sense? So who would be assigned? Another pair of angels to accompany him in anything he does, right? Because Gabriel stands alone. All the others always work in pair. They also become the ranking personalities of all angelic corps during that bestowal mission, right? Including serving as what they call co-commanders of the archangels. The archangels will always be in the planet as a corps, but they're not in charge of the archangels. That's important. They are equals to the archangel in position, but the archangels are always doing their jobs, doing what? Retaining duplicate personalities of all beings on a planet that die, right? Remember when we studied a little bit about the mansion worlds that all the guardian seraphims, when they get your personality after you pass, a copy of that is always registered with an archangel, okay? So if that seraphim defaults like they did in our our local universe, then that archangel is responsible for repersonalizing you on the mansion worlds. It's a checks and balances system, right? So there's no possibility, even if your guardian seraphim defaults, that your personality trust would ever be lost, because there's a duplicate of it with the archangel. And that is true not only when you leave this planet, but your personality duplicate stays with that archangel all the way till you get to Salvington. Okay, so it's the whole journey.
Strange.
He knows exactly what you're doing all the time. All right. Let's see here. Jane, would you take the next one, please?
Okay. Similar pairs of these super angels are assigned to the planetary core of Trinity teacher sons that functions to establish the post-bestowal or dawning spiritual age of an inhabited world. On such assignments, the evening stars serve as liaison between the mortals of the realm and the invisible core of teacher sons.
Now, why would this need to be? Because the teacher sons are not visible, are they? So this is the core of angels that can make themselves visible to relay anything that the teacher sons wants to teach or tell individuals during this bestowal mission. Make sense? So they'd be used quite a lot for this. All right. Okay, let's see here. Millie, would you take the next one? The worlds of the evening stars.
The worlds of the evening stars, the sixth group of 7 Salvington worlds and their 42 tributary satellites, are assigned to the administration of the brilliant evening stars. The 7 primary worlds are presided over by the created order of these super angels, while the tributary satellites are administered by the ascendant evening stars.
Okay, so did you catch that? The main ones, 7 primary worlds, the main worlds are administered by the created order, okay? But the tributaries are administered by the ascendant orders, right? Stuck in my tongue there. Okay, so this is the picture of the worlds. Let's read this other paragraph. This is kind of interesting too. Rodney, would you take the next one, please?
The satellites of the first 3 worlds are devoted to the schools of the teacher sons, and the evening stars dedicated to the spirit personalities of the local universe. The next 3 groups are occupied by similar joint schools devoted to the training of ascending mortals. The 7th world satellites are reserved for the triune deliberations of the teacher sons, the evening stars, and the finalators. During recent times, these super angels have been closely identified with the local universe work of the core of the finality, and they have long been associated with the teacher sons. There exists a liaison of tremendous power and import between the evening stars and the gravity messengers attached to the finalator working groups. The 7th primary world itself is reserved for those unrevealed matters which pertain to the future relationship that will obtain between the teacher sons, the finalators, and the evening stars, consequent upon the completed emergence of the super universe manifestation of the personality of God the Supreme.
A lot of stuff in that paragraph, isn't there? All right, so the first 3 worlds are dedicated to the teacher sons and the evening stars, which are dedicated to the spirit personalities of the local universe. That's not ascending mortals, right? The first 3 worlds. The next 3 worlds are devoted to training us. You know, we go through school after school after school, but the next 3 worlds are for training us. And the last world is dedicated to the core of finality and the what's going to happen in the future, and the revelation of God the Supreme once it comes into full fruition of its personality. Okay, so that's way in the future. Okay, man, I can't believe I got all that in there that quick. A lot of information. So that's all the worlds. Okay, let's move on to the archangels. One of the most interesting sections in the book about the archangels, it's so interesting that they don't tell us a lot about the archangels. You have to look for this. So it's kind of strange, but we got a whole section on them here. Okay, Gary, would you take that first little paragraph on the archangels?
Archangels are the offspring of the Creator Son and the Universe Mother Spirit. They are the highest type of high spirit being produced in large numbers in the local universe. And at the time of the last registry, there were almost 800,000 in Nebadon.
Okay, so the archangels, they say, are the highest type of spirit group. It's interesting they use the word spirit being produced, high spirit being produced, isn't it? They don't say that they're just angels. They don't say that they're Urantia-based beings, do they? They say that they are high spirit beings, which makes a difference, okay? So if you think about it, they're of the makeup of a spirit like we will become a first stage spirit when we leave the local universe. Makes sense? But these beings are already high spirits themselves. So if you think about it, the archangels are our local universe resident spirits. Make sense? Even though they are angels. All right. And there they are, created by the local universe mother spirit and Michael. All right. Let's see. Pam, would you take the next one?
Archangels are one of the few groups of local universe personalities who are not normally under the jurisdiction of Gabriel. They are not in any manner concerned with the routine administration of the universe, being dedicated to the work of creature survival and to the furtherance of the ascending career of the mortals of time and space. While not ordinarily subject to the direction of the bright and morning star, the archangels do sometimes function by his authority. They also collaborate with others of the universe aids, such as the evening stars, as is illustrated by certain transactions depicted in the narrative of life transplantation in your world.
Okay, so I don't know if you remember when we studied, when they came to this planet to transplant life, there was a whole corps of archangels that came with them. Okay, so they're there from the very, very beginning. Okay, but it's interesting here that they are not normally under the jurisdiction of Gabriel, isn't it? Even though Gabriel's in charge of all the rest of the angels. Okay, but they are not. They are free to mostly do what? Work with us on our ascension plan, because they are the duplicate of all our personality. They hold the duplicate of all of our personality from the time we are born all the way to the time we leave Salvington, going out into the universe. All right. And the next paragraph is quite enlightening. Diane, would you take that?
The Archangel Corps of Nebadon is directed by the firstborn of this order, and in more recent times, a divisional headquarters of the Archangels has been maintained on Urantia. It is this unusual fact that soon arrests the attention of extra Nebadon student visitors. Among their early observations of intra-universe transactions is the discovery that many ascendant activities of the brilliant evening stars are directed from the capital of a local system, Satania. On further examination, they discover that certain archangel activities are directed from a small and apparently insignificant inhabited world called Urantia. Well, that's us. And then ensues the revelation of Michael's bestowal on Urantia and their immediately quickened interest in you and your lowly sphere.
We're kind of this jewel out in the middle of nowhere, aren't we? Right. First, there's a observation post of the brilliant evening stars on the capital of our local system. Okay, that's number one. But then we have a archangel divisional headquarters right here on our planet. Isn't that interesting? We can't see them, but they're here. So divisional headquarters are right here on this planet, which brings an interesting question up. Okay, have y'all ever watched the show on TV called The Mysteries of Skinwalker Ranch?
The mysteries of what?
You've mentioned it.
Which one?
Skinwalker Ranch?
No, you told us before.
Yeah. They have been doing this research on this ranch in Utah for years now. There's all these strange things happening that you can watch it on TV anytime you have a minute. And they've been doing experiments trying to figure out what it is. The interesting part I want to bring up is this. If there is a divisional headquarters of archangels on our planet, it's at some location, isn't it? Right? Makes you wonder this. If they keep thinking that there's this dimensional portal over this ranch in Utah, they can't figure out why, like 3,000 feet or above this ranch, there's this hole that keeps opening up. Okay, and they think it's a dimensional hole. It's multi-dimensional. It goes from one dimension to another, right? What if this is a dimensional portal for the archangels to travel to and from the planet? They also say in another part of the book, when it talks about the archangels leaving the planet, they do it at midnight every night. And when they're transported, many times the trail of the archangels leaving, okay, or the transport angels leaving, either one, there's a trail that follows them out. It's so bright and fast that you can see it in like a millisecond for just a second. They keep seeing these lights flashing in this multidimensional area above this ranch. So my question is this: you think it might be possible that that might be some spiritual portal they found and they don't know what it is? They won't ever figure out what it is, probably. Okay, but it's
Just give them
interesting.
your Urantia book and tell them to read it.
Well, yeah, I've thought of that a couple times, Gary,
have thought of that, yeah.
but it's, who's to say? It's a possibility. Nobody can say for sure.
I thought Big Sur was one of the areas where they thought that was
They
happening.
think that Big Sur is another. They think California is where many Urantians believe that it's California, northern part of California is where this divisional headquarters is. Yeah, in the redwoods,
Antarctica. But I have a,
yeah. Go ahead.
I can't remember. Does it state in the book when their headquarters was established?
Yeah, you're going to read it here in just a minute. I think it's in this section. It was established right after Michael left the planet, right? Right after the crucifixion, the divisional headquarters was established on this planet. Now, why would that be?
That's what I was
Because-
going to ask. Why do you
Yeah.
think?
Why do I think? I think it's because from that point onward, more and more humans were accepting the fact that Michael was the Son of God, that Michael was our creator, and that there were more people that were salvaged from this planet than had ever been before. Okay, Because if you think about it, we were pretty barbarian up to that point, right? They almost lost the concept of God to the point where they had to send Melchizedek down 900 years before Jesus, right? So it makes sense when you have a religious, what you say, revelation of like Jesus, that there would be more and more beings surviving. And that may indicate that the necessity of having these archangels close at hand to do what? Take care of the souls that were in duplicate, that were leaving this planet constantly.
Roger,
Yeah.
there's also another problem. Because we're the only mortal world in Nebadon, in
Right.
this universe, that a creator's son lived on.
Right.
I think it's going to be a tourist attraction.
Oh, for other, yeah.
A
Yeah.
lot of different personalities here, and they're going to need to control that.
Yeah, coming and going constantly, wouldn't they, Rodney? You'd have student visitors, you'd have visitors from other universes, visitors from, I mean, you think about it, they must have some way to get them here and take them back off again, right?
Yeah, buses,
Been a lot of really large events.
cruise ships.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Cruise
Huge,
cruise
huge.
ships to Urantia, there
Yeah.
you go. You know, going through the
Wow.
sky. Maybe that's some of these big USOs they see up in the
Could be.
sky. You know, who's to say?
Other
Yeah, but the fact that a archangel headquarters here sets us apart. Now, what else does this affect? It affects the fact that if there is a archangel divisional headquarters on this planet, you think they're going to let us blow this planet up?
No,
I don't think so.
I
I
wouldn't.
really don't.
I don't know about that, because
Yeah,
they
I don't
hold
think
us
they will.
responsible. The whole thing is responsible for your own actions.
That's true, Gary, but the question is, would they let it, they might let us eliminate all human beings on it, but I don't think they'd let us destroy the planet. Right?
Oh,
has anybody read the book on Admiral Byrd about his discoveries of
I'm
other
not sure
people
what you're
living
referring to.
underneath? Pardon
The
me?
Antarctica, there's,
Arnica.
yeah, Admiral Byrd swore up and down he flew into a hole in the Antarctic area, and there was a civilization inside this hole inside the ice. I mean, it big enough, you know, it was like another world. Now, who's to say exactly what it was, but he documented in a book he wrote, and it didn't come out till after he died. His son brought it out.
He wasn't
How
allowed to
is his
reveal it
name
to the
spelled, Diane?
Byrd,
Admiral Byrd, Byrd.
What's the name of the book?
gosh, I don't need.
I have the book and I've read it a couple times and I don't remember, but it would be hard to find. It's just under Admiral Byrd,
Yeah, if you look up Antarctica,
Antarctica,
and,
discoveries. Yeah,
yeah, it would be there.
it's an amazing book because he documented everything that he experienced, and he
Yeah.
was not allowed to reveal it while he was alive, but his son revealed the book after his death.
You know, we live in an age where things have been coming out that we never knew about, right? I mean, honestly, things are being revealed left and right during our age and time. And this is just one of the many things that the government suppressed from letting us know.
The
So-
government
Diane?
the government does not let anybody fly over that area.
They don't. If you go down
it's
there and try to
restricted.
fly over where it's supposed to be, they'll chase you out,
Restricted.
you know? So, you know, it's
Diane?
just kind of interesting.
is this
Yes.
the book that where he was coming back from the expedition and they went and did a stop in Argentina, I believe, and he had an interview with the press corps and he revealed this stuff. And when he got back to the United States, they shut him down.
Yeah,
Yep,
that's
exactly.
it.
Yeah.
That's
I think
exactly it.
He is very explicit in everything that he writes. I mean, it's just amazing. You feel like, you are going through the experience yourself. So, I mean, there's no doubt in my mind when I read it that he had experienced every part of it. It's just our government suppressed it, and he was told that he would be killed actually if he revealed any of that information. So he wrote it in a book and his son revealed it after his death.
The point is this, there's a lot of things that's going on this planet, and there still is, that we don't know about, right? And one of these has been this archangel. It's been the divisional headquarters been here for 1900 years now. So, there's, and we're going to study this some more. I don't want to hurry through any of this. This paper's got so many interesting things. We'll take this up next time because we're out of time again, but there's just so many interesting things about this paper itself. So we'll take our time going through it. We'll take it up from Do You Grasp the Significance 3734 next time. Let's say a little prayer and then we'll shut down for tonight. We'll take this up next Tuesday. Remember, we won't be here Thursday because it's Thanksgiving, right? And so we'll take off Thanksgiving and we'll come back on Thursday, right? So I hope everybody out there, or Tuesday, that's right. Hope everybody has a wonderful Thanksgiving and they give thanks for all their blessings. Let's say a little prayer. And I think I'll close this tonight in prayer. Father, we give you thanks. We thank you for our lives. We thank you for our world. We thank you for this wonderful planet. We thank you for our families. We thank you for our health. We thank you for all of our many blessings in so many ways we can't even enumerate them. We know that you are the source of all and your son is the source of all that we know. And we thank you for our local universe mother spirit also, who plays such a big part. And without her, we would not be here. We give thanks, we give thanks, we give thanks. We say this in the name of your son, Michael, and Jesus of Nazareth and the local universe mother spirit. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Roger. Thank you. Beautiful hour.
Thank
Well,
you.
thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
And thanks all of you at home at Facebook. I'm going to sign you all off. See you next time.
See you next Tuesday.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Tuesday.
Happy
That's right.
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving, everybody. That's right.
Happy Turkey Day. Eat a lot.
Right.
We're having steak.
Last year,
Yeah.
my daughter always had two turkeys. She had one she roasted and one she smoked. And she said, Mom, I always have so much left over. I said, don't do two turkeys this time. Do a turkey and a ham. So I went to the buffet and I got a plate and I put on the turkey and the dressing and the mashed potatoes and gravy and the things that go with turkey, cranberry sauce. And when I sat down next to me, he said, that's a very small plate. I said, this is just my turkey plate. And then when I got another plate, I got the ham.